You're listening to the Womanpreneur Podcast. Empowerment in business and life.
It is a beautiful day at the Womanpreneur Podcast. How did you like that?
I think that was good. It's a nice, different way to open it up. Who are you?
My name is Melissa Moats, and who are you?
I'm Amanda McEwen.
Almost sounded like a Mr. Rogers beginning, because I was like, it's a beautiful day in the Womanpreneur Podcast.
I'm trying to think. I think this episode airs in November sometime, so the movie might be coming out soon. So it's good timing.
It is good timing.
Mr. and Mrs. Rogers.
We could.
Yeah.
I love Mr. Rogers. So we hope you're doing well today, and we really appreciate you tuning in and being a Womanpreneur Podcast super fan.
Because if you're listening, that's clearly what you are. And we appreciate you.
We super appreciate you. And we are just ready to talk about some stuff. What are you going to talk about today?
Today we're talking about not giving away your power. And it can apply in a lot of different ways. And this is where tough love Amanda comes out a little bit more. And maybe I'm a little feisty about this topic because I've run into this with my business clients all the time. And people in their personal lives, it ties in. This is what we always try to do, is tie in our business topics to your personal lives. But I find it everywhere. And unfortunately, it's mostly women that do this. But there's a sort of a meekness or a timid, people are timid. There's all these things that we want or that they want, but they're not asking for it. So it's like, there's a lot of ways in which this applies to this whole idea of preserving your power and keeping it for yourself. And it's not that you never compromise, because there are times when you have to do that. But there's a lot of times that people are kind of giving their power away to somebody else and giving somebody else the ability to say, oh, well, I feel this way because of that person, or he made me do this, or she made me do that, or you're giving them too much power. Like, you're in control. If you want to be happy, be happy. Don't let somebody else.
It's like taking responsibility for your own life and like not apologizing for breathing the oxygen that other people are breathing too.
The apologizing is a huge one. And this is something, again, I never hear men do this. And it's not to single anybody out or say that they don't, or that all women do this. We're always generalizing. Sure. But there's a book now about girls stop apologizing.
I was just going to say, it's a great book too, by the way.
And it is a problem that girls are often saying, I'm sorry, for things that A, you probably shouldn't be sorry about, and B, it's not even a meaningful apology. It's just oh, you bumped into me, I'm sorry. And then, wait a minute, no, you bumped into me, I'm not sorry about that. Right. Little things, but it goes into big things. And for a lot of people, it's second nature almost. They don't realize that they're doing it.
Yeah, and I think it can be a real habitual thing. Yeah. Just saying you're sorry. I mean, I remember when I was about 18 or 19, someone pointing it out to me, saying, why are you sorry? And I was like, what? You know, right. and then I was like, oh my gosh, it's a weird thing. And then when you are aware of it and you start hearing other people saying it all the time and using that over and over again, it just becomes like more like in your face, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I was doing that.
Yeah, and even in business communication, I see it a lot. I'm sorry to bother you, but no, I'm not sorry to bother you. Like, I need answers, or I need information. You have it. Yeah. But again, we always say that there's no room for emotion in business, but there's this thing that happens that women particularly tend to take the meek approach, and it's a lot of times out of fear, because this is centuries, I guess, of how women have been viewed. And it's kind of like, well, if you come on too strong, then it's going to work against you. Right. But I don't think, I know you and I have talked about this before, I don't feel like I've ever been held back in anything in my life from being female.
Yeah, I don't feel that way either.
I don't allow that to happen. But there have been times, just like with anybody, that I probably didn't get as much as I should because I didn't ask for it. And I can't put that, it's not men's fault. Right. But even when I used to work at an office, it would happen a lot of times, or friends who worked for jobs, and I need a raise. They'll never give me a raise, and a lot of complaining about that. And my question is always, well, did you ask for one? Well, no, but they should just know. No, nobody just knows. You can't just hint around. Yeah. If you want something, you have to ask for it, which goes back to our passion projects episode and the overall theme of if you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah. And it's fine if you you can't sit around stewing because you don't get something that you never asked for.
Right.
And that is what I'm seeing happening a lot. And that's why I get kind of fired up about it, because it's like, just ask. But if you're going to ask for a raise, you have to be armed with the reasons why you deserve that raise, why you've earned it, and not just, I need to make more money.
Right.
That's not a good reason.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the number of times I've heard that from employees or other people, and it's like, well, what are you doing to show that you deserve the raise? Well, I don't know, but I have a lot of bills, and my wife's pregnant now, or this or that. And it's, well, okay, but that's not your boss's fault.
Right. It's about seeing it from the other side, and you need to know how to share the value added for them, right. The reasons why, what they're going to get. And I think that's something to really think about, is when you're asking for something, it's coming at it. Again, we talk about this all the time, being solution minded, right. and being to serve, in the sense of, this is what I'm doing, and I'm also doing this too. And you might not even know that I've been doing this, and this too, or I've taken these extra classes and I've gotten a degree in this, or I've become an expert in that. And these are some extra skills that I have that I can bring, to the company and to help. I mean, that's just like generalization or general examples, but yeah, it's just showing your value and the reason of why you should get paid more money, for sure.
Right. And the money thing, this happens with business owners and other entrepreneurs all the time too. And part of why this came up, or has been coming up so much with me, is a lot of these individual business owners that I work with, and maybe when they got started, they priced their services too low. They didn't know, they were just getting in and they didn't know better, or they didn't know how to estimate their time properly. Now they have more experience, but they've already set that precedent with a client. And now, well, they don't feel that their time is being valued enough in what they're making, but they're not having that conversation. And it's like, this is your business. You set your own rates. You can't be scared to go back to your client and say, as of January 1st is always a good date, or whatever it is, here's our updated price sheet, or have a conversation, a very polite one, but explaining why your rates are going up. Yeah. But you also have to be willing to accept that you might lose that client. And that's where you have that choice of, you kind of keep your power to yourself and you say, I'm going to stand up for what I deserve. I'm going to value my time and my skills and all of that. Or I'm going to put the power in somebody else's hands, and I'm going to keep working for this client, but my heart's not in it because I'm feeling underappreciated. But that's the choice that you kind of have to make.
Yeah. And it always goes back to, too, it seems like the people who pay you the least are the ones who work you to death. Right. And, it's an interesting mindset how those kind of go together. But one example that popped into my head was when I've had to have conversations with clients who owe me money. And I remember how uncomfortable I was with that earlier on in that exchange, I'm sorry to bother you, but you owe me some money. But I shouldn't be sorry. They're the ones who should be sorry because it's 90 days past due. Why am I apologizing? So over the years, and just a lot of things happen through experience. Yeah. It's like a lot of things are easy to talk about and to generalize about, but then when you're actually going through the motion and you're an entrepreneur or a freelancer, and it's all on you, and you're the person who's executing the situation, or reaching out to ask somebody to pay you who owes you money, you've got to really dig deep and be brave sometimes and say, you know what, you can be kind and not apologetic. That's a possibility. You can actually be very kind and approach something but not have to say you're sorry about it, and be strong and firm. Strong, firm, and brave.
Yeah. And kind.
And kind, yeah.
Fortunately, I don't have clients who don't pay me on time. There's one that might be a couple weeks behind sometimes, always for good reason. But even in those rare cases that it comes around, I never say, I'm sorry to bother you, but you owe me money, or anything like that. But it's always something more along the lines of, this. I noticed this invoice is past due, just want to check up on it. Any update you can give me would be appreciated. I start off very kind now, and if I get ignored or it hasn't come to that, but if in theory, if I were to get ignored or they're just, kept, there have been times back in my old job days and people would just kind of they would lie and they'd say, oh, check's in the mail. And then it suddenly doesn't show up for months still. And it's like, well, and then there would get times though where I would just cut them off. It's like, okay, well, your account is X amount of days past due now. You want to record a session? We're going to record it, but we're not giving you the files until your account is current. And then magically by FedEx the next day, payment would show up.
Isn't that interesting?
Now their jobs are at risk.
And
so
one of my smooth moves in the past have been when I've had clients who owed me money and I wouldn't do their next job until hand. That would be one example. They'd have to pay me like through PayPal immediately. I've had a couple of clients who were so bad at slow paying me. We're talking 6 to 9 months it took them to pay me. But I was on a project where they needed my voice because I had done many other modules or whatever for them. I then made them prepay me. So, I mean, I said, I'm happy to do that for you. I'll go ahead and invoice you right now. You can pay it through PayPal, and I'll be happy to record that for you.
Because you have the power in that situation.
Absolutely.
And again, it's not about taking advantage of people. No, it's not about being aggressive or anything like that. It's just it's accountability. It's another it's another way of saying be accountable for your own actions, your own time, your own feelings. Don't put it on, don't let somebody else decide what your life is going to be.
Sure. And just taking full responsibility, but don't apologize for, breathing the air or for anything. I do really recommend that book, by the way. Girl, Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. Check it out. It's available on Audible.
Book recommendation.
Yeah, it's a really good one. What else? What else is on your mind? Because this was when you brought up this topic, I was like, huh.
Yeah, and because it's how you start to see patterns in everybody around you at a time. It seems like this is what keeps coming up. There's a lot of disrespect with people's time, and this happens in a lot of different situations. But I had an example from earlier this week. I have a client that's going out of town, and there's a ton of projects that I need information about that he's kind of been running, and they're all going to land on me. And I said, look, we need to talk sometime tomorrow. I am available all day. Just let me know when works best for you, because my time is flexible. He set up a meeting, sent me the calendar invite, did the whole thing. Time for the meeting rolls around, no call. I always give it a nice courtesy 5 minutes before I send a text like, hey, just want to make sure we're still talking, or do you need to reschedule? Did that. Sometimes I'll even wait 10, but lately I'm less kind about how much time I'll give. Didn't get a response to the text. I waited. I gave the 15-minute window. I charged for that 15 minutes, by the way, so it's not. That's my time while I'm waiting. So there's that. But he didn't show up, so I just had to go about the rest of my day. And then when the call finally came in, an hour later, I felt that there was this expectation that I should just be available, and I wasn't. And so it's like, okay, well, let's reschedule a time for later in the day, and we'll talk. And it all worked out. But I hear other people in this situation a lot of times, and they'll just sit around and wait. Well, I need to do this other thing, but I really need to talk. So they're putting their own schedules aside to make room for the person that disrespected their time in the first place. And it's rarely intentional. I know my client wasn't intentionally disrespecting my time. It turned out the alert, and he didn't set an alert on the calendar, so he put it in the calendar but didn't put an alert. So it just didn't happen, and it's perfectly fine. But it's that, or if you have dinner plans or something with a friend. I think we all have at least one friend who is habitually late and can never get to where he or she is supposed to be on time. I have a couple friends that we actually shift the meeting time up 15 minutes, to account for their late time. So
that's smart.
Sometimes you make adjustments, but a lot of times it's that the people just sit around and wait, and then they get frustrated, and it's like, but why? And if you're willing to do it, cool. But it's that there's that line of are you putting yourself out to try to make somebody else feel better who's not respecting you in the same way? is the people pleasing. There's a lot of people pleasers out there
Right.
who put their own happiness at stake because they want to make other people happy.
Yes.
But those other people are not giving them the same courtesy.
Yeah.
So it's very one-sided.
It's
I
not
don't like that.
reciprocal. Yeah. No, it's definitely something to look at in your life, and see if you're doing that. And I remember earlier on in my business, and just when I was younger in general, I was super guilty of, I do love to make other people happy, and I have put myself out, for a lot of other people, but you have to have that balance where, you want to do kind things for other people, be available for other people, or, save other people in their situations, or come in and just do good. But sometimes it's at what cost,
Right.
or at what, it's like we've said this before too. It's like when you're saying yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. So you want to really be kind to yourself and say yes to yourself.
Right.
And there's balance. There's balance in everything.
In everything.
In all relationships and boundaries and expectations. And that's another thing that is really important to assess all the time.
Right.
Yeah, in business relationships and in personal relationships. Absolutely.
And it's funny because one of my strengths in business is my flexibility, adaptability, all of that. But those things also work against me. And this is how I've been guilty in giving away my power. It's because a lot of times I don't care. Like my role as a producer has taught me that things are going to change all the time. You have to be adaptable and flexible and kind of go with the flow and just think, okay, well, this thing just didn't work out. Now we're going to have to do it this other way. And it's worked out really well for me in my life because I don't take it, and even without my job, like I don't take it personally when plans change.
Right.
It's fine. They change. Sometimes you just need to go with it. As an introvert, there are times when you have plans with somebody and then you get that call that they want to cancel and you're so relieved. It's like the best thing.
Even when you're an extrovert, that happens.
So there's times when you just kind of let it go because you're secretly happy that it changed.
You're like, oh, okay, no problem.
But living in Vegas, this happens a lot. There's this free concert series downtown every summer, and there's usually all these 90s nostalgia bands who are playing, and I always want to go, and my friends always want to go, and I'll make these tentative plans, but then the day rolls around and it's 110 outside, and we're not going to go stand on the pavement and listen to this old band that's probably not that good anymore. So we rarely end up doing it, but the idea is there.
It's good. Ideas are born, and in the moment they feel really great.
So, sometimes things change, but what happens, at least for me in my life, is because I'm so flexible, so adaptable, so easygoing, is people take advantage of that, or at least they try to. And again, I don't think it's intentional.
Right.
But there are also times when it's like, well, I mean, she's not going to get mad, so I'm just going to go do this other thing instead. And this has been in different areas of my life where that's happened. Because it's like, well, you have one person that's going to throw a temper tantrum and have a big fit and make you feel bad. And then there's the one that's like, yeah, no big deal. They tend to favor the ones who are going to make their lives harder.
Sure.
And so it works against me in a sense, because it's just like, oh, it's just Amanda. She's going to be fine. Like, let's not worry about that.
Right.
And it's like, well, and it's true, but maybe worry about it sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But that's on me, though. Oop, I just hit my microphone. Sorry, Brent. We're testing out this new setup, so we have new cameras and new microphones, and now I'm like, I don't have this microphone in front of me to hit, but now
I didn't say it in the last episode, but I did feel slightly weirdly naked without having the table in front of us. Maybe people will tune in because I said naked.
Oh, maybe. That's a keyword. We'll
So
put that
provocative.
in our description.
Scandalous.
See the new naked set of the Womanpreneur podcast.
The Womanpreneur naked. Hashtag
I think we
naked.
would get a lot more viewers, but then there'd be a lot of either relief or disappointment. I'm not sure which one.
Only if I can wear a full body spank to
You know who
hold
I saw
everything
in one of those?
Who?
Jason Alexander. He had a show here for a while where he was in a nylon naked bodysuit for a big portion of it.
Wow.
It took a lot of courage.
Wow.
To go stand there and
I've always, my sister and I have always talked about how nice it would be if this one particular idea of mine would come into style, and that would be a full control top pantyhose for your whole body. I say hoe, not hose, because it's singular, for your whole body.
Your pantyhose.
This is sausage encasing? Is that what you're talking about?
A pantyhose.
Basically, yes. From my neck down, I like control top everything, and then I wear my swimsuit.
That sounds terrible to me.
Because then everything would look like so firm and so smooth.
Well,
it would be terrible.
Okay, I don't know if this really ties in, but I'm going to try. I will not wear control top anything.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's giving my power away to, I don't know, whoever they is out there who thinks that every woman should be super smooth and whatever.
Right.
To me, that's the worst feeling. Like, I feel suffocated.
And it's like, where
in
does
that
all
kind
the
of
fat go? Like, seriously. Like, where does the fat go? Think about it.
move? I don't know. I don't know because I won't do it.
Well,
And
I've done it.
granted,
I've done it for me. Because
but good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
But no, I'm not going to wear that because that's what I'm supposed to. But again, I mean, I don't wear heels. I don't really make that. But there's a lot of things I don't do that I'm supposed to because I keep
You
that
rebel.
power. That's for me to decide.
Yeah.
But it does tie into some of that. It's that self-confidence and little things like social media. You put in the effort and you make some kind of post of whatever it is, and then within an hour, or you're disappointed because you didn't have enough likes on it or whatever that is.
Yeah.
You're giving other people the power to tell you how to feel.
Yeah.
When it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
Are you proud of that article that you wrote, or the graphic that you created, or the words that you wrote? Are you happy with yourself for it? Because that really is all that should matter.
At the end of the day, that's what counts, and that's what matters. Absolutely.
But we give others this power.
You're making me. I'm feeling real
like,
fired up right now about everything you're saying, because that is so absolutely spot on and it's so true.
It's everywhere though. I mean, I hear it. I'm this way because my dad did this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that's in there. That stuff is real. That affects all of us.
Sure.
On a very subconscious level, I think, for the most part. But at some point, you have to take ownership of, okay, I had this happen to me when I was younger. I went through this, but I'm better for it. I'm stronger than it. I forgive it, or him or her or the situation. I accept it and then move on
and also not putting your self-worth in anyone else's hands other than your own. And it's so important. And I was going to say too, I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine today about, I attended a yoga class this morning, and it was just awesome. I hadn't been in a yoga class in forever. And at the end of the class, I was telling my friend Andrea that I said, man, the instructor was just so inspiring, and he said so many beautiful words, and I just felt so just kind of like lit up inside, and it was just a really nice experience. And she said, yeah, gurus and yogis and stuff, they talk a lot about how when you are practicing yoga, it's so mental. It's obviously physical and mental. And she was talking about how we all have the power to heal ourselves, mentally, physically, whatever. But she was talking about how the teachings of whatever, I'm kind of getting a little off topic, but she was saying, you hold the power to heal yourself, especially emotionally, spiritually. Nobody else can do it for you. You have to do it yourself, and so that goes back to self-worth, and that goes back to not giving, put your power away to other people. And I don't know, I tangented slightly.
Well, but also going back to our episode with Brent, it's not giving so many hoots.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Don't give so many hoots. Yeah.
Because what happens, people get embarrassed. People feel insecure in a lot of different ways. Like I've known people, they're like, I went to one yoga class and I couldn't do the things that all the other women were doing, so I'm never going to go back.
Yeah,
it's like you let, again, I always think, were you a Friends watcher?
Yeah.
There was an episode where they all figured out how Phoebe runs. And she like flails her arms, and her friends are all, I think Rachel especially was all embarrassed. She didn't want to be seen running with her because she was just flailing her arms like a crazy person. Phoebe didn't care, and she even just said it. Like, when was the last time? I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I know there are memes of the running incident. But finally, like at the end of it, Rachel decides to let all her form and all the care go away, and she just flails her arms and runs with freedom and has the best time. Yeah. They run into each other, and it's this happy moment. But it's that, like, there's so much concern. And I always
about
talk
what
about
other people think.
it's the comparison trap, and all social media is all out there, and people are constantly comparing. And it's like, just be true to yourself and go have fun. If you look ridiculous, and I'm guilty of this too. They're saying I don't like to do things that I'm not good at, especially in front of other people. I do get embarrassed about that, and sometimes it's like, I need to figure this out, and it's this weird thing, and I try to catch myself and say, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter, but it's still in there.
We are all perfectly imperfect, and just embrace it and just be you and do you. I got a cute story for you.
Okay.
The other day, I was out running some errands, and I decided that I wanted to deliver cupcakes to the Adrenaline Boys next door. And so I stopped by and I picked up some cupcakes, and I parked my car at the Nothing Bunt Cakes parking lot. And I noticed this older lady walking by in front of my car, and she stopped and she looked at my car. And she didn't even know, she didn't even see me in the car. I didn't think. And she looked at my car, and she looked at the eyelashes on my car. Yes, my car has eyelashes. My pink convertible Beetle has eyelashes. And I saw her chuckle to herself and then keep walking. And I was finishing up something and getting, my stuff together. I got out of my car and I walked in, and I was about 30 seconds behind her while she was going the same place I was going. She was going to Nothing Bunt Cakes. So she was standing in front of me in line, and I thought to myself, I could say something to her, or maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. But then I just felt like it, and I tapped her on the shoulder and I said, I saw you looking at my car. And she goes, that was your car? And I said, yeah, that was my car. And she's like, girl. And she said, I was smiling at your car. And you know why I was smiling? And she said, because I was thinking, that's somebody doing themselves. She goes, you do you. And she said, that is so cute. And I said, and she said, that takes guts to have that car. And I never thought about that before. I was like, I've never thought that I had to be brave to have a pink car with eyelashes. Well, it just felt right. Right. But
do you feel powerful when you're driving it?
I feel happy when I'm driving it. And what I said to the lady, I said, I really enjoyed my car because it's like this situation right now. I said, it made me feel really good to see you be happy and smile and laugh when you looked at my car. Right. And so we were having this great little conversation. And the next thing I know, we're both like sampling these carrot cake, just beautiful thing. Or no, actually it was pumpkin. I take it back. It was pumpkin. And we're chit-chatting some more. And she said, more people just need to be themselves. Right. She said, more people need to just be comfortable. And she goes, you do you, I do me. And everybody just needs to quit worrying about what everybody else is doing and just do you. Yeah. And I said, I agree with you. I said, I think everybody'd be a whole lot happier and a whole lot more peaceful if they were just honoring themselves. Right. And so we were just hanging out, and then I ended up going one direction in the bundt cake place to another area, and she was going another way. And a few minutes later, she tapped me on the shoulder, and she said, hey, I'd like to share this with you. I just bought you a pumpkin bundt cake. And she introduced herself. She told me her name was Beverly. Beverly, maybe you're going to watch this or hear this. And I told her my name, and she just said, I hope you have a beautiful day. And I'm so happy that we talked. And it was just like this awesome moment. This lady's buying me a pumpkin bundt cake. It was a really good day. and I was like, this is so cool. And it all was because I had a pink car with eyelashes and she was amused by it and I was doing me. But
it's something to consider, and knowing that others do give power to you or to anybody else. You can use that. They shouldn't give that to you. They should keep that for themselves. But if you think that you have any kind of power, why not use that and be kind to others? And it's because a lot of times when I'm talking about people who are giving away their power, it's somebody who maybe they're really excited about an idea and they just think that, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is going to be the thing. This is going to change my life. And then they tell their best friend about it and they got shot down. And then for who knows what reason, but a lot of times people just put others down out of insecurity, out of jealousy over, oh, why didn't I think of that? Or, what if she does that and then she becomes more successful than me? I better
or fear. They're scared. They're scared. They would be terrified to do it.
Right.
And so they don't understand why you're not scared. So they think they're being the voice of reason.
Right.
They think they're saving you.
Right.
They're like, no.
and to some degree, making sure that somebody's being reasonable and logical about their idea. Maybe not the idea, though. The execution of the idea, sure.
Yeah.
But it's that if you get really excited about something and then you get shut down right away, you get deflated. And it's when we had Dr. Keller on here, she had made a comment about, because she listens to people a lot, and she had said something about how, or maybe it was Amy. I think it was Amy when Amy Ayub was on, that she was saying how many times, it was Amy, when somebody's opening up, they're finally willing to talk about something, and then the person that they open up to shuts them down right away to talk about themselves, and you see how deflated that person gets, and then they go back into their shell and they never get out there because they were just willing to be open, and you shut them down.
Yeah.
And I see both sides of that, and it's like, as that person, don't let somebody, if you put yourself out there and you get shut down, don't let that ruin you for the rest of the world or for everybody else just because one person did something, or maybe 100 people shut you down.
Yep. Doesn't matter. You keep going. Keep going.
You believe in you.
You do you.
Yeah.
Just hold on to it and keep going. But yeah, this is some good stuff to think about for sure.
I just think you gotta, there's always times you have to compromise in business. You're working with other people, you have clients. You can't always get your way. That's not what this is. But you have to have the confidence and the willingness to have the hard conversations. And I would say that applies in all of your personal relationships just as much as business, if not more, with family members, with friends, with everybody. You have to be able to have the difficult conversations, because a lot of times you hear about, okay, I'm feeling a certain way. I wish this would change. Okay, well, did you talk to her about it? Well, no, it would be awkward, and so I don't want to. It's like, okay, so you're sitting here holding on to all of this negativity, and it's festering throughout you, and now it's affecting everything you're doing in your life. Why not just talk to the person that's involved?
Yeah.
Have that conversation. Maybe
just get right to the root of it.
Right.
And again, be brave.
And be prepared, though, that if you have the conversation, you might push somebody away. But if you push that person away, is that person willing? Is it somebody that should be in your life in the first place?
Right. I mean, it's either the situation will either resolve or it'll resolve. It'll resolve one way or another. It just which way will it resolve? And I wanted to say too that being a people pleaser, I love to make people happy. That's probably my favorite thing in life is to make other people happy. But it's just having that boundary of making sure you're still making yourself happy, So if it's like you're always making people happy, but you're doing it in an unhealthy way where you're really putting yourself out, or you're really inconveniencing yourself, or making things really difficult for yourself, or hurting yourself, to do for others, then that's where you have to really, really evaluate or reevaluate.
It's being really honest with yourself. Is, okay, am I settling for this behavior because it's okay, or because I'm scared to do something else? And I think back to when I used to work at the job, and I stayed at that job way longer than I should have. And I had convinced myself that it was fine that I wasn't getting raises, or that I wasn't getting recognized for all of the work that I was doing, or that the men I worked with were taking credit for what I did. Like there were a lot of these things, and I had convinced myself that I was okay with it. I don't need the credit. I'm fine being behind the scenes. It's not a big deal. And I like where I work, so it's fine that I'm not getting paid more. And I think if I'm being really honest about that, I probably didn't push the factor, because, well, if I push it and they decide we're just going to let you go, I wasn't ready to face that yet. So I kind of withdrew and gave away my power for way longer than I should have. But that's on me. That's not on any of them, and I can own that now. And you can always see things much more clearly in retrospect, of course.
Yep, hindsight is 20/20.
And I did like the people that I worked with, and I did have a lot of fun. So it wasn't all about the money; it was fine. But if I were advising somebody else in that situation, I would have told him complete opposite. Like, you need to stand up for what you want or get out of there. It's always easier to give the advice than it is to take your own.
Yeah.
Way easier.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
We'll do a whole other episode just about that.
Yes, seriously. No, so I think one of the things to maybe think about is trying really hard to be self-aware. Are you a people pleaser in an unhealthy way? Are you fearful about having some of those uncomfortable conversations with someone in your personal life or with someone in your business life? And then why? And how can you come at it from a place of love, from a place of looking for the solution? And it's not a blame game either. It's just having the courage to just point out whatever it is that you need to point out, or try to find that resolution if you need one, and not being afraid, and not apologizing.
But that word blame, that's the big one, because I think it's just inherently in human nature to look for somebody or something to blame for what's not going right in our own lives, instead of looking within and finding that, okay, well, what am I doing to create this situation or to allow it to keep happening? And a lot of that is, well, maybe if I stood up for myself a little bit more, or maybe if I had a tough conversation, maybe if I was willing to let go of that toxic friend, all those different things that are not easy decisions to make, but so you can't blame others, but others do affect us. And then it's that choice. And I'm sure we've all been there where we've had to cut people out of our lives, and it's really tough. But then when you get the distance from it, and you can kind of look back and think, oh, I thought she was my best friend, but that was not good. I was giving and giving and giving, and I never got anything back. And I don't think friendship is about doing things so you get something in return.
Sure.
But when it's so one-sided.
Friendships are about sharing, though. It's a sharing. It's not always being in the giving position and then the other person in the taking position. So it's reciprocal. And it's a sharing. It's an exchange of energy and love and time and goodness.
And the same
and cookies.
And cookies. Well, you didn't bring me cupcakes, so I'm a little upset about that. And I'm gonna blame you for being cupcakeless. That makes me really sad.
We still have time. Don't you worry. We're gonna have dinner tonight, so maybe I'll buy you some dessert.
There you go. But even in those business relationships, it's the same. It's the same thing. You are offering a talent, a skill, whatever it is that you are providing that service for your clients. They are paying you, yes, but they don't own you.
Yeah.
And they're not in control of you. And if you're not happy with the situation, you have two choices. You accept it, or you speak up against it.
You speak up against it, or you move on.
And you can't expect, this is like a silly little example, but you can't expect people to know what you're thinking at all.
I think a lot of people do expect other people to know what they're thinking.
Well, and they get so frustrated when they don't, but our brains all work way differently. And the silly little thing I was going to think of is there have been many times when I've been in the car with somebody, I'm the passenger, they're driving, they're trying to get over into the next lane, and then it's like, this person won't let me over. Like, well, do you have your turn signal on? Well, no. It's like, okay, it takes half a second to flip that thing on. It's called an indicator. So because you're indicating to that person that you need over. You don't have that on. How do you know that they're not paying attention to you? Right. And it goes back to what we had talked about a few episodes ago. They're not thinking about you. So
That's a good one.
It's a sad
it's a big
reality.
It's a big pill to swallow, but nobody's thinking about you.
No, they're really not. But you should be. You should be thinking about you.
You should be thinking about you the most.
Again, I endorse selfishness, and in a balance with being selfless. But you do have to take care of yourself.
There's a healthy selfish.
Yeah.
Healthy
selfish.
That's healthish.
Oh no, you're trying to do another one of those merged words.
I love word merging.
Melfish doesn't really roll off the tongue though. Be melfish.
Healthfish.
Healthfish. Now we've just gone way out of it.
I'm going to write that in my bujo.
No. Yeah, tune in to last week's episode if you don't know what a bujo is. Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, be a people pleaser, but with a healthy boundary.
Yeah. Because it feels
pleasing,
good.
It does feel good to be kind to others and to please others, but just not at your own,
right.
what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, help me out. Help me out.
You're just having too much fun watching you look for the word.
Shoot. Expense. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby.
Thanks, Abby Motes.
Yeah.
Not at your own expense.
It is. I mean, it goes back to setting boundaries but also not, okay, if I think I used this example before, but I'll use it again. It's, if all my friends are going out to the club, I'm not going to put myself out and go to the club because I know I'm not going to have fun there. And it's kind of twofold because I know I'm not going to have fun and that's going to make me uncomfortable. But also my friends who are with me are going to realize that I'm not having fun and that's going to make them feel bad. And that it just doesn't work. And my friends who I have now, most of them I don't think go to clubs anymore, but even if they did, they know that I'm not going to go and they know that that's not personal. And that's standing up for yourself isn't necessarily like I'm doing this to spite somebody else. It's just like, that's not going to work for me, so you go do you. You go enjoy your thing. I would never drive a pink convertible Beetle with eyelashes or any vehicle with eyelashes, but I love that you do.
Thank you.
And it goes, again, you and I have many, many, many differences.
It makes me really happy to see people smile and point at my eyelashes, especially little kids. They're like,
oh, right.
And then their mom's like, yeah, whatever, let's keep walking.
But even, and I feel that this would happen, even if somebody, say it's probably a teenager, because that seems to be the age of somebody who would do this, but if somebody walked by and started making fun of your car, you're not going to take that personally. No. It's not going to make you retreat and say, oh, I better take the eyelashes off because that kid made fun of me. You're like, okay, that kid didn't get it, but you know what? I like it, so I'm going to keep going.
Absolutely.
You're going to keep your power.
So for all of you listeners and viewers out there, you do you.
Yeah.
You do you unapologetically, and you just keep on keeping on, and don't give so many hoots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this was our awkward ending. So
are we doing an awkward ending?
I thought you might.
I want to read the positivity ball real fast.
No,
see, I'm doing me.
She's doing her, and so we're gonna have to talk about this later.
This little yellow positivity ball that's sitting beside me just told me that I look marvelous.
Hey, there you go.
That was nice. That was very nice. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I feel good about
you feel
what
powerful?
I just feel content.
I shouldn't even say powerful, but empowered. I mean, it's our one of our overarching themes of the podcast. It's empowerment in business and life.
Yeah, I do feel good. I do feel empowered.
It's not having power in that I'm in charge, I'm in control of everybody else and everything, and I rule the land. Although maybe I should rule the land.
If that's what
I'm
you
gonna
want
look
to
into
do.
that.
You want to rule the land?
Yeah, maybe.
Rule the land.
I rule my own land, and that's enough for me.
It's Amandaville.
Amandaville doesn't really have the ring to it, but
you know what I call my house?
Oh no, what do you
call it? Troy and I call it Moatstown.
Moatstown.
Yeah, It's like the Motown, but
why
it's
are you
the
saying it like that?
Because it's got like a groove and an attitude. It's good. We love it. We love it. But yeah, I just feel content and I feel grateful and I feel good. And I think if you're always coming from a place of love and just a place of good, I just think that you can't go wrong. Well, that's just really what I think.
As long as that love and place of good includes yourself too.
It does.
And that's the important
First and
part.
foremost. And then everything else is just kind of like you start to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And if you just honor what works for you and being true to yourself, you're going to be happy. And the people around you are going to be happy too.
Sounds good to me.
I like it. I think we should end our episode right now.
Okay. Ending it now.
We've really embraced the fact that our endings are awkward and we kind of like it. So anyway, we really, you know what, I want to say one thing though before we go.
Is it a powerful sentiment?
It is powerful.
Yeah, do it.
We need reviews.
We need reviews.
If you guys are watching and listening, which we know you are,
because you're telling us about it,
can you just let us know that you like us?
Just go on Apple Podcasts and just leave us a little review. Give us 5 stars, please. It would be great if you like what you're hearing. And if you don't like what you're hearing, let us know, and we'll see what we can do about that.
Give us 5 stars anyway.
Yeah, we'll fix it for you. But yeah, those reviews are really helpful to us. So.
Yeah, and we're just a couple of girls with a podcast, and we're just trying to put out the goodness.
Just a couple of girls with podcasts.
That's who we are. Just a couple of ladies. Are we ladies? Or girls or women?
Yeah.
We're women.
We're us.
We're us.
I don't take offense to other words because I don't give people that kind of power.
Yeah.
You call me a girl, I'm not going to get offended by that. You call me a lady, call me a woman, call me whatever you want to call me.
Call me an emoji.
Call you an emoji.
I don't know.
Now things got weird.
I just looked at this. It just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
And listening.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Womanpreneur podcast. Until next time, you've got this.